Hello, hello, all. Okay. Okay. Got that pinned. Jeez Louise. Okay. Guys, I am waiting on my guest to join from SG Tax Pros. Okay. I am waiting on him to join. Hello, hello to everybody who's joining now. Okay. Okay, Pete, I'm going to send you a request. Hello, hello. It's got,
All right, get everything situated here.
there you go. All right. Can you hear me?
I can. I'm just trying to get myself together.
Got you. No worries. Take your time. I'm doing the same. I just wanted to make sure my audio.
Yeah, for some reason, your invite is blocking the screen now. Ain't no thing.
Really?
Yeah, we get it together.
Why is there always? Okay. I'm gonna wait for you to send the invite back. Guys, we're gonna be getting started very shortly once once our guest is able to rejoin, we're gonna get started with our discussion. Okay.
I think we're good.
All right, all right.
All right, there we go. There we go. How's that? Can you hear me now?
Awesome. Everything is great. Perfect. We're good?
We're good.
All right, all right. So thank you so much, Pete, for joining. And welcome to everyone. We're recording live, so this will be watched later on. So to those who see this later, welcome, welcome to another installment of the Touch of O'Shea discussion series. For our February installment, we really wanted to highlight, it's Black History Month, it's a new year. We want to highlight some ways to help small business owners and individuals just better prepare for financial success out here.
Absolutely.
And so I am super excited to welcome Pete Baycoat, the principal from the SG Tax Pros out of New Jersey. very excited. Thank you so much, Pete, for agreeing to, to be a part of this discussion. I will give you the floor to introduce like yourself and what your business does. You know what I'm saying? If you want
Sure.
to put that out there.
Sure. My name is Pete Baker. I'm the principal of SG Tax Pros, along with some other companies, but we'll focus on taxes right here. Well, I've been doing taxes since '96. Our current company, SG Tax Pros, has been around since 2009. We like to help clients look at different aspects of taxes, not only in prep and getting a refund, but for businesses as well. We believe it's important that businesses structure themselves correctly, understand the laws correctly, and have an advocate for their side. As we will get into later on, the different changes in the laws recently have caused different changes for businesses as well. So I want to thank you guys for having me today. I'm looking forward to answering questions and being able to talk to Mrs. Touch of O'Shea.
Listen, thank you, Pete. And you are absolutely right. If it's one thing that I know since starting a business is that you need mentorship. You only know what you know. You know what I'm saying? And as you have told me before, the things you don't know, hire somebody who does. So,
Correct.
and when starting a business, and even just from your individual, tax
Mhm.
preparation, if you don't know what you're doing, you should still consult someone, but especially when you're trying to run a business, because now you have to manage both personal and business, making sure
Correct.
everything is on the up and up. And I will say that I have, been partnered with your group for some years now, and I thoroughly appreciate the job that you guys have done. And that's why
Thank you.
when I was thinking about this discussion, I couldn't have thought of anybody else, that I trust enough to ask these questions. So let's get right into it.
Sure.
As we discussed, one of the main things that I want us to discuss is the one big beautiful bill. It's like it's almost taboo now when you hear the term. It's the law went into effect, or it passed last year in
Correct.
July of 25, and we know that it's going to bring some changes. Some may be good, some bad. That's
Mhm.
subjective, but overall, tell us, what is this bill intended to do?
So it's supposed to give more credits to certain businesses. It's supposed to help individuals at certain income levels to help them as well. I think we all understand that depending on, no matter if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, it doesn't matter. There are certain things that businesses kind of provoke and start people as far as how the economy goes. A business sparks it. Small businesses actually are like 90%
Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Sam's Club, you may think of something of that nature. It has a lot of employees, but that's only one store. If you look at your average store, it has 10 to 20 employees, 30 employees, 50 employees. All of those are kind of what spark growth in the economy. So the big beautiful tax bill, in essence, makes a couple of rollbacks, and it
Yeah.
also kind of lowers the tax bracket slightly for individuals. Of course, for people with children, there's a high credit for children. For earning credit, there's things going on that, well, there for businesses, they have incentives to hire people, they have incentives to have R&D credit. So there's a lot of different things that you don't know about, and R&D is research and development, by the way.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a lot of different things going on out there that you really can't really understand unless you're a part of that community. So some things may not
Right.
even affect you whatsoever. But I will tell you that one thing I've noticed the most, even though tax season is early, is refunds are lesser. Right?
Yeah.
It's funny because they do have higher credits. Like, I literally was arguing with a client today. Well, I made more and I have more kids, and that went up. How come I have
Right.
less refund? Right?
Right.
And I said, well, if you look at your pay stubs from last year, how much taxes were taken out of your check? Look at them from this year. How much taxes were taken out? And they saw like a $2,500 difference. I said, yes. So a $2,500 is $200 a month to you. So $100 a paycheck to you that you saw in your paycheck. Now, for me, especially when I had younger children, you give me extra $100, that is gone instantly. Who knows
Right.
where that went, right?
Right.
But yeah, some people, and against your philosophy as well. Right? I know people
Right.
who want the government to owe them money at the end of the year. They want to owe because they got all the money they cut from the government and had to give them a little back, and they feel like a refund is a waste of money, letting the government get a free loan for 12 months. It all
Mm.
depends on your ideology on how you look at that. I
Yeah.
know for me, you give me $20 a week, that's not going to help me out.
Right.
But if you give me $960 at the end of the year, That'll help me pay down a bill, pay down a
Right.
credit card, do whatever you want. It just depends on you and your spending. Now, if you're disciplined like my daughters, you'll take the money, you
Mm.
put it into your retirement plans, you put it into your savings, and it can work for you throughout the course of the year. Most of us are not that disciplined.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, you know how that goes. One thing that I found interesting when I went to good old ChatGPT and I
Hmm.
asked, just tell me some high level things about the bill. The first thing it said was that the bill was intended to create more stability for
Hmm.
business owners. And I thought that that was just kind of interesting, just you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying, that the word stability came up because that is something that business owners are always looking for. You know what I'm saying? But
Well, let's turn that into layman's term, right?
right.
What does stability really mean to a business,
Right.
right?
Right.
Any business will tell you cash flow stability, right? Because just because you make it doesn't mean you have it, because you have expenses that match that. So if you can leverage your expenses, which is you're going to write your expenses off more, then you can have more cash flow, which now you can afford stability, paying your bills on time, paying employees, doing things of that nature. That's why that's there. Like I'll give you an example. For those who don't know what depreciation is, when a
Hmm.
business buys something, it's categorized whether it has to be spread out over 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 15 years, 27, and 39 years, depending on what you buy. So if I buy a couch for my reception room, so my so my guests don't have to stand, right?
Yeah.
I have to do that over 5 years. Right? I don't get to write that off right away. I have to appreciate that over 5 years. So a $2,000 coach, a couch, I get $400 a year to write off, but I had to pay $2,000. So therefore,
Gotcha.
they're now giving to the what they call bonus appreciation. And bonus appreciation means I can take 100% of that couch right now, and I can write that couch off right now. But see, there's a trick to that, right? Because I don't know about other businesses, but every year in October, we kind of look ahead on how we think we're going to do based on where we are now, how many
Right.
plants are going, how our marketing effects going. We kind of look at that. If I believe I'm going to make more money next year, do I want to
Yeah.
take that big hit in savings this year and not have it for next year? Right.
Right.
Yeah, I want to have that for next year, so I might not take that. I mean, I think everybody's aware of the 179 deduction on a heavy car. It's nothing. I gotta buy me a lot. I gotta buy a G wagon. I gotta buy a G wagon. Any
Yeah.
car with 6,000 because they're writing the entire cost of that off against their income for their business. And if you can prove that you use it for more than 50% of your business, it is deductible. So
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, like your internet. I know I'm online constantly looking
Right.
at different things. I will tell you, my internet is more for business than it is for personal. I think they just watch movies and stuff like
Absolutely.
that. Well,
Right.
I'm constantly researching. So you have to understand what can be done. But with the good also comes the bad. I think you and I
Yeah.
talked the other day, and recently, whenever you have newer deductions, higher credits, hiring credits, they have a hiring credit for people who hire people that are on different programs. You can get
Hmm.
literally money back from hiring people that were in certain programs that are now been
Yeah.
through whatever and are qualified. The issue is that the government doesn't trust you guys.
Yeah.
Right? If we're honest about this whole situation, the government is going to look at you even more closely as far as how they're going to scrutinize your deductions.
Hmm. Hmm.
So anybody that has way more spending and way less taxes could be flagged to be, hey, let me look and see what you're doing. But
Yeah.
anybody that has that has to have great systems where they keep track of everything. So for
Yeah.
my so normally that's more effective of my smaller businesses because
Hmm.
as you and I said, they put the hustle to the muscle, right? They get it, they figure it out. The accounting stuff is my least of my concerns.
Yeah.
So we're just trying
Yeah.
to get the money and stay afloat. The problem is that when you come to the back end, you got a letter from the IRS that I think you owe $125,000. We don't agree with any of your deductions. What can we use to prove that those are legit?
Yeah.
What are we proving that proves that's correct? So realistically, I have to then find out what we can use and what we can spend. That's why I will tell everybody when you have a business, separate your personal from your business. And I mean that
Mm.
in your books, i.e., your bank account shouldn't be the same. You shouldn't have one bank account for everything. You should have a personal bank account. You should have a
Right.
business bank account, right? You should pay yourself what you can afford to pay yourself. And you should keep your transactions separate. So
Okay.
therefore, when it's time for me to come talk to the guy and sit down with the IRS, and by the way, the IRS is in my office about last week this time for a client for the
Yeah.
same very reason, right? You have to make sure that they can separate the two and you can have your proof. Once you have your proof and everything is all written down, that's not a big issue. It's not big at
Yeah.
all. It's just sit down and you take your time and do what you want to do.
That is very important. That was something that I wanted us to highlight, was making sure that your money is not mixing, right? Do
Commingling is
you
what we call that.
commingling of the monies,
Commingling is the word that we use
right?
for that, right?
And so, how especially now, I'm saying especially now because now that this bill is in place, there's a lot more that's going to be going on. But
Hmm.
how important is it that you
Well,
have that business bank account,
that's a great
personal?
question. That's a great.
Yeah,
Let me ask, why do you think we incorporate our businesses? Let me ask you that. Why do you think that we incorporate our businesses? Why we set up business separate from our own self and we set it on a separate business, whether it be a single member LLC, whether it be a incorporation, whether it be a partnership? Why don't we just do everything under our name?
because of the responsibility that comes
And
with that,
and the liability,
and
right?
the liability. Yeah,
So
yeah.
if anything happens to your business, you can file bankruptcy if you need to, and it can clear your business debts. When you
Hmm.
don't keep records, when you commingle, you pierce the corporate veil, which means now
Hmm.
everything they can consider business is no longer separate. So at that point, they can
Ah.
come after you for what your business did personally, right? So it's important that you go ahead and you keep that separate. You understand what that means.
Wow, it makes your personal finances liable
Fair
now.
game. Yeah,
Oh,
now it's fair game. And a lot of people don't know that. They just, again, they're just,
right,
hey, I need here. Hey, pay yourself and then pay that. Right? Keep that
right.
separate. If you can't
Yeah,
liquidate how your business now, like I'm not going to tell you if you don't have gas because you're traveling for your business, that can be paid. Reimburse yourself for gas. Hey, I went this many miles. Here's my reimbursement. That's
right.
great. But if you don't have that, you have to be careful. And trust me, they've been doing their game with the IRS a lot longer than most of you American businesses.
Right.
So they're going to know. You're going to have to walk in with a professional and figure out where you stand. That's going to cost you money too.
That's like trying to say that the dog ate your homework to your kindergarten teacher.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah,
used to getting an F. It doesn't.
yeah.
It doesn't.
Right,
It
right,
doesn't matter. And,
right.
and it's crazy because one thing we talk about here in my office is that clients oftentimes looking for services or for things that we offer try to skimp a little bit, right? And the thing about it is, after the fact, it's way more. Like
Yeah,
after the fact, there's so much more. When you come in here and there's a problem, then we have to get involved. We're not moving until we get a certain amount of money from you, so we know because how much time has to be spent.
right.
So
You
it's
might as
not
well.
personal, but it is literally being cheap can cost you a lot of money when it comes to
Yep.
protecting yourself.
You
It
might
will.
as well just get it done right. You might as well do it right the first time,
Correct.
as opposed to having to fix it later on.
Agreed.
That's so a few aspects of the bill that you've already kind of pointed on, but I just want to like highlight just for anybody who may be a little confused. So the 80/20, what is it? The 80%, is it
The QBI.
yes. Could you does that apply across the board no matter
No.
what
Nope.
let's
So
talk about that.
the
Who does that
QBI is
apply
a
to?
qualified business income, right? And
Mhm.
how it works is you get a deduction for businesses that are standalone businesses, a pass-through business, excuse me, of
Okay.
20%, right? So you get a
Mhm.
20%, whatever you earn that way is 20%. It cannot count your W-2. It cannot count any other income guidance, just the income you've earned from your business that makes it qualified. You get a
Okay.
20% deduction. So let's say you qualified on your 16,000, you get a 32% deduction. Right? Or like part of what you did, if as long as that income is 100% business that you earned, right? And
Yeah.
that's a savings. That's a pass-through savings to you, so you don't have to pay tax on that much less. The effective
Mhm.
tax rate for corporations is going to be 15%. It used to be 21%. So they're trying to, the thought process, this almost goes back to the Reagan times of trickle down economics, is that
Mhm.
if business owners have more cash to spend, they'll buy more things and they'll hire more people and stimulate the
Right.
economy that way.
Okay.
Whether you agree or disagree, that's the whole intended purpose of that. So they want to make sure small businesses and pass-through businesses get a qualified business income deduction so their money is not spent on taxes. And I will tell you, tax planning, which is something we offer here, is huge. I think last year we
Okay.
had a client that went from owing 10 to getting back 49,000.
Wow.
All because it's like we help them create a plan for them, right? What
Yeah.
what can you save? What can you use in your business? What can you use now? What can you use later? When is it time that you use these? Here are the programs that are available to you now. You're not going to know everything. I mean, it's almost like
Right.
going to your your brother-in-law who read a book on dentistry to get your teeth fixed.
Right. Right.
You don't want to do that. You want to
Yeah.
work with somebody who does this on a regular basis and
Yeah.
understands what's changing. So I mean, at the end of the day, you want to make sure, and especially, and let me tell you, people who are gig workers, so people who are always paid by 1099s or they're paid in cash,
Mm-hmm.
they're really fun to get. And the reason why I say that because most of them don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, what's his name? Jermaine Dupri, a long time ago, his Ferrari was pulled off in a truck saying "Thank you very much," right? And the reason wasn't because he didn't know. He knows how to make music and all that, but that's taxable income that's not either not reported or you're paying taxes on. So when an artist makes $2 million, if they don't have any expenses, they're paying taxes on almost $1 million between federal and state and local. Sometimes New York City, Philadelphia, some cities you actually pay
Yeah.
city tax as well. So if you don't have anybody planning like, hey, what can I do? One big thing is
How
people
to
who
play
own
smart.
businesses. Well, one of the people, I mean, jobs are different because they're actually W-2. So when you're a pro athlete, you're W-2. You're not 1099.
Wow.
So you get your check after the
Yeah.
government gets theirs, right? Artists
Yeah.
and people of that nature get their check before the government gets theirs.
Right.
And let me tell you,
Mm-hmm.
the government doesn't want to have. I don't have it anymore. They don't want to hear that. You had it in your
Right.
mind. I'll take that house and I'll take this car, and we can talk about the rest on your bank account.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. You need to work. If you're in that line, you should work with a professional because you'd be surprised on what you can write off versus what you can't or what you need to subsidize. I mean, I'll give you one gem as a person. So if you have a 401k, like the limit's like 23.5 now that you can put into your 401k,
Yeah.
you can actually deduct 25% of your gross income as a business. So I could put away towards my retirement. So instead of me giving it to Uncle Sam, I still not going to have it, but I have it in my bank account, that in
Okay.
my account, Fidelity, whoever
Right.
you want to use for access to it later. So realistically, you don't have to have it on you. I'd rather have them have it for me growing later than Uncle Sam have it. Who doesn't
Right.
really need it? I feel like they waste a lot of money. So why would I give it to them instead of me keeping it for myself?
Yeah. And see, all of these types of nuances are the reason why you need somebody who is experienced to
Mhm.
help navigate,
Correct.
you know what I'm saying, the process, because we don't know all of, you know what I'm saying, all of these little, not really little, but these changes that can really affect your bottom line. You know what I'm saying? Like what's
Right.
taxable, what the IRS has access to and what they don't. All of these things can be, and it can tackle your money, your, what you think you have later on. The IRS is like, nah, let me get that. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? They hit you with the
Correct.
usher, the watch this.
Yeah, that's not fun. I mean, that's a tough
Yeah.
situation because unfortunately most people live up to the income they have. Uh,
Right. My
no matter
Lord,
no
my
matter if you
Lord.
have a little bit or a lot,
Yeah.
it's just human
Yeah.
nature. I can afford that now, right?
Right.
But I think if you have any kind of job like that, or you have a business, you need to speak to somebody. And depending on how big your business depends on the frequency of when you need to speak to somebody. Like we have plans where guys come in quarterly and sit with us and talk about, what happened last quarter, what they think next quarter. We have guys that speak to us weekly. We have one client that speaks to us every couple of days based on what they
Yeah.
have going on. They make millions and millions of dollars. So one slip could cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
So you get to understand where you're positioned in your business. I will tell
So,
you, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, so I was gonna, with regards to like meeting with you or like meeting with a professional or
Mhm.
even doing your own like reconciling your budget. That's one of the questions that I wanted us to talk about was
Mhm.
when you're if you're running a business, because some people might say, well, my business isn't even making 50,000, so I don't need to look at my books every week or every month. Whereas, somebody might say, I'm making $1 million. I'm looking at my books daily. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So should it matter based on where you're at? I
I'm
would
gonna
say
tell
no,
you. I'm gonna
but
tell you what I believe. I believe
yeah,
first of all, no one's in business not to make money, right?
right.
So
Amen.
how are you treating your business? Are you treating it like it's a hobby? Which how much money I got into my bank account? I can see how much money I got in my bank account. I literally had people told me that I can see how much money. Well, how much bills are due? How much money you
Yeah.
have coming in? Because really, you're talking about cash instead of cash flow. Cash flow is king. That is how you can
Yeah.
tell what you got coming in, what's going to happen next. So realistically, I personally believe that if you really want to do your business, you really want to do your business, you're going to treat it like it's a major business, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have control of your spending. You're going to have control of your clients. You're going to understand where it goes. I mean, one of the hardest things for me, and I'm still getting to it, is that outside relationships are outside relationships, right?
Right.
Your business is your business. Because, it's funny because at the same time, if you tell somebody, hey, man, I got you, I'll take care of you. And you come to them, hey, man, you think you can let me? Man, I ain't got no money for you. So it's
Right.
like,
Right.
understand. But at the end of the day, you're blessed to have a plan, somebody who believes in your plan, and somebody can show you the ways of doing it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did not have a mentor growing up, but I love
Hmm.
research. I'm sure I could have been where I wanted to be 15 years ago had I had a mentor. Would it cost me a little bit of time? Would it maybe cost me a lunch, a dinner, or even paying for the services? It probably would have, but it would
Right.
have been invaluable because I now can see the pathway. I had to have my machete out and cutting my way
Right.
in bush and
Right.
all that stuff. Um, but like I have a lot of guys that I used to either coach or known, and we've talking about this stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, ah,
Right.
well yes, because you don't know. When you don't know,
You don't know. You
you
don't know.
don't.
And when you find out, it's when the IRS is knocking on your door, like sending you a letter like, we seen that you bought X, Y, and Z, and now you know what I'm saying? Or
And
whatever.
I'll
So,
be honest with you. I believe that is half the reason why people don't go into business. Right. I think the reason, because I know some brilliant people who refuse to have their own business. They could be millionaires at their own business, but the whole thing of, I have to be responsible for this. I have to be responsible for that. If I do it wrong, I can go to jail. They can hit
right.
my,
I can lose everything. Right.
correct. And it's not for the faint of heart. It's not. I think I did a video one time on understanding that your business, whether you just started or you've been in for a while, you need to commend yourself, right? But you need to work
It's
smarter.
it's
Not
not it's not easy. I'm not gonna lie. Now let's talk about some of the platforms, okay?
Mhm.
Because now when it comes to like record keeping, one thing we talked about this was the fact that I used to have like the big bundles of receipts. I have receipts bundled like Nino Brown's money. You know what I'm saying? I had my receipts
Oh,
bundled
yeah.
up. Now I have QuickBooks. Right
Hmm.
now, I'm not gonna lie. I don't go in there as often as I should. I'm probably on a quarterly schedule where I like look in there at what I got. But like, is QuickBooks the recommended software? Should we be looking at
So
software
it really, I'll be
options?
honest with you, I think that, they have FreshBooks, QuickBooks, Zero, there's all kinds of
Right.
system. I'll be honest, QuickBooks is not, we're certified platinum in QuickBooks because
Yeah.
I believe it's still easy to use.
Yes.
They're trying to add AI in there, but the problem with AI is going to watch what you spend. So if you spend, you tell it something wrong,
Right.
it's going to keep doing wrong for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not bad to have somebody review your information. Because
Okay.
again, are you leaving deductions? Is that something that should be there? If you're having one, where's the other one? So I think
Right.
you should. I mean, QuickBooks has a great ability, like I think most of the softwares do, to attach receipts. That is
Yes.
IRS acceptable. If you have a report
Okay.
and if all your report you have your receipts on how you got there, because just bank accounts is not enough. Yeah, I saw what you spent.
Your
It's going
bank
to be
statement is not enough.
it is not because if you sit there and
Okay,
go,
let's
well,
highlight
look,
that. Your bank statement is not enough. People listening, don't.
I'm not saying I know, but I heard.
Right, right.
that that
Somebody
that
had told me. Right.
that there's a place in Tampa that is a gentleman's place that will give you a receipt that says Porky's Barbecue, right? And it'll say you can, you say you spent
Yeah.
$1,000 at Porky's Barbecue. You're on your bank statement's gonna say Porky's Barbecue.
All kinds of brisket. You don't get.
But I'm just saying. So is that really a deduction?
Right.
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 So they will investigate. Listen, they'll investigate everything. If they depends on how big you are, small you are, how much time and how much money they can get back. There is no limit to what they will do to go for you. I mean, realistically,
So
their job is to
so
sit there. They have nothing else to do. That's their job.
right. That is their sole responsibility. So as you if you're reconciling, you're in QuickBooks, your bank account is linked, you see your charges in there. You need to be also making sure that you are attaching some screenshots of the actual receipts
If you can,
for
absolutely.
purchases. Right.
Now, if we're saying, like, for instance, I'll give you an example. I had a client, it said Wawa, and they put gas, but it was 1892.
Okay.
So it was like, who gas is 1892?
Right. Right.
Now, it could have been they had $15 of gas and a coffee.
Mm-hmm.
On their receipt, they didn't break that out. It just
Right.
said Wawa gas. You have to
Yeah.
understand, like, most people don't think that way. They think, okay, I got this link. This is what it is. Linking is just one small piece of it. It's not about linking. It's about do we have accuracy? I think, especially with the
Okay.
new tax laws, they have hired more auditors. They let them all go. They brought them all back.
Mm,
So why they bring back auditors? Because how many millions or trillions can they collect from people who they deem have done wrong? Doesn't mean they're wrong. They deemed they're
right.
wrong. And either you're going to fight it and pay money, or you're just going to give up and get on a payment arrangement, which is another, death trap in itself. So.
Right. Right. That is, yeah. So that's one key that is super important is keeping those receipts.
Hmm.
And even though we do have now we do have technology and we do have like software options, but the software options just linking your account is not enough. You have to make sure that you are keeping your receipts, that you are making sure that you're itemizing, like, making sure everything is outlined. Now, how long do we have to keep the receipts though?
That is a great question. 6 years. The IRS has
Wow. Okay.
they can do a 6 year look back. So this year is 2025, right? We're doing, even though we're in 26 to 25. So
The
you can go all the way,
taxes.
they can go all
Hmm.
the way back to 17 and look, right? No, I'm sorry, not 19. They can go back to 19,
19.
right? They can go all the
Okay.
way back and look. So you have to make sure that you keep those on records for 7 years. After the seventh year, as long as 7 years from your filing date, it's not 7 years. Oh yeah, it's 2025 taxes, but I did
From
my 2020 taxes, but I did my taxes in 2024. Well, that's when they can start their 7 years. Because if you don't file, there is no look back date. Yeah,
wow.
yeah. If you
Okay.
don't
See
file,
that right there? That's pivotal right there. It's
mhm.
not 7 days like from the date that you bought that boat or whatever. It's 7 days from the day that you filed the taxes with that thing. You know what I'm saying? Within your tax
Because when we pull
submission.
transcripts, it'll show us when the filing date is. When we pull your
Okay.
transcript, it'll say filed on this date. If you're late, it'll say applied late fees, apply,
All
interest.
your business. Just telling all your business.
So we can get a report in a matter of a day or two with everything that the IRS is going to do, has done. They have appointed a representative, which means they have somebody who's assigned to your case. We can see all that within a matter of a day or two once we get a power of attorney from you guys.
Yeah.
So for us, that information, like they'll never not tell you what they're doing or who's been what. And if you can read those transcripts, you can tell what's about to happen next. So
Yeah.
for us, we get excitement. We had somebody came in last year to owe the IRS 700,000. We got them off for paying nothing. And part of that reason is because their books were not done. And then we kind of got all that stuff together and said, you have to excuse them. They ain't know what they were doing.
Right. Right. Right.
But there's a certain way you go about that, right?
Hmm.
You just can't walk in like, I don't owe that. Because once they have it and it's in their sites, they're not apt to let it go. Like I told
Right.
somebody, once they get your refund, they're not really trying to give it back.
No, no, right. Yeah. What bike? Then it becomes Debo. It's what
Yeah,
bike? You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. We just keep it in my house.
I mean, just keep it. It's your money. We just gonna keep it at our house. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So
That's
yeah,
exactly right.
that's very interesting. Now, one other thing that I wanted to ask about this bill,
Mhm.
because when I was in graduate school down in North Carolina, I was a waitress, and I remember having to submit tips. I remember having to like submit all of my information for tips. And when I saw that one of the aspects of this bill was that like it's no tax on tips anymore, I do just
So
want to highlight.
let's be
Let's talk
honest
about
about
that
this.
real quick.
There has to be registered tips, right? It's
Okay.
not the tips that somebody slip a 20 in your pocket and say thank you.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Right.
They have
Okay.
to be registered by your employers as tips. So
Uh-huh.
it's not just any and every tip, because you have to be very careful about that. So if you claimed 20,000 in tips, but your employer only said they gave you 12,000, only that 12,000 is deductible, right?
Okay.
So you have to understand that no tax on tips is only that. That's a great point. You bring up another point though. The no tax on overtime.
Mm-hmm.
I had people call me, and it's only up to 25,000, and there is a threshold of income.
It's only up to 25?
It's only 25 grand. So
Okay.
I had somebody like, well, I had tips, so I don't have to pay any tax on that money. I said, well, no, you
See?
don't have to pay taxes on the premium overtime. So give you an example. If you make $10 an hour, right? So 40 hour week is
Yeah.
400
Yeah.
bucks for you, right? I mean,
Yeah.
800 bucks. If you work overtime, you're getting time and a half. That and a half is what you don't pay taxes on. That time, your straight time,
You're still paying taxes
you're
on
still paying tax on straight time. You're just not paying it on the time and a
and a
half portion.
half.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I
And
mean, it sounds good.
right, right. Because when I first heard it, I did the double take and I was like, nah, it ain't no way. You know what I'm saying? But then I was like, well, let's just see how it plays out. But you know, when I saw that as one of the line items that came through, I was like, is that for real? But
Yeah,
okay, so
there's always a small asterisk beside it, a little caveat. And I
right.
mean, and let's be real, if you're a high earner, W-2 earner, a lot of stuff you phase out of. You're not going to get a chance to enjoy some of those things because that's really for lower class or low middle class. They're trying to make sure that they have something. But bigger guy,
Now
like I said, start a business, man. Like 9 times out of 10, you get so many more write-offs if you have an expertise in something, then you can start a business.
that's
Now,
exactly what I wanted to talk about next was if you have a job and that job
mhm,
might phase you out of like your salary might be really good with your job and it might put you in that higher tax bracket. But
mhm,
if you have a business and your business, you know, maybe took a loss for the year or what have
mhm.
you, how does that help you or
So
does
depending
it?
on how you're set up, your structure, your business, and unfortunately, I've probably done about 3,000 incorporations.
Yeah,
Everybody is LLC. I want an LLC, and I always go, why? Well, what? Tell
right.
me why you want an LLC, right? And the thing about it is, if you have a pass-through business, so those are LLCs, S corps, partnerships. If you have those kind of business where the company doesn't pay the income tax, only the individuals who own it pay the income tax, then that loss is passed on to you personally. So let's just say you make 125,000 at your job, but you decide to work with your cousin and y'all started a business and your business lost $35,000. Well, you
Yeah.
and your cousin, if you're 50-50 partners, each get 17.5 to reduce
Uh-huh.
your taxable income now. So now instead of 125, you're at 108 of taxable income. Now your
Right.
job has been taking taxes like you 125. So in essence, they
Okay.
overtax and you'll get some of your money back. But on the
Okay.
flip side of that, we had a client one year who was on, it was the S corp was similar, so the corporation didn't pay any income tax.
Mm-hmm.
However, they profited $4 million.
Yikes.
Correct. So they had to claim that 4 million on their personal taxes. And when that came, the kids are gone,
Oh,
the house is
oh,
gone, all that. So they
yeah.
just got whopped upside the head, something crazy. And you can, there's rules that you can elect a certain way, you can unelect that certain way, but there's timetables that have to be adhered to.
Yeah.
So my thing is, if you know that, you should make sure you change it in the time. But that goes back into planning, talking to professionals. Because if
Yeah.
you could talk to a professional instead of paying, they then would only pay 21% on the taxes. That would have been a 17% saving. And on $4 million, 17% is pretty significant.
Pretty nice. Yeah. Yeah. For
Hmm.
sure. Okay. Yeah. Now, when it comes to you said you and your cousin start a business. Let's talk about hiring family. Let's talk about
Yeah.
setting up.
So
Let's talk about if you're running a business and you want to hire your children or you want to work with a family member.
So
Pros and cons.
one of the great tricks of we call it income transferring. That's really what it is.
Hmm.
It's when you're transferring a part of the income that you have and you're responsible for to somebody else who's at a way lower tax bracket.
Okay.
The first 15 and some change of like 15.8, 15.5 of a child that you claim is non-taxable from their standpoint. So what that means is, I mean, at home tax, they have to pay a Social Security and Medicare. Now, that's it. They don't have to pay state. They don't have to pay federal. Just Social
Okay.
Security and Medicare. Now, if anybody understands the employer-employee dynamic, the employee only pays half of the Social Security and half of the Medicare. The employer
Okay.
pays the other half of that. So
Hmm.
you can get a huge deduction of your own children, no matter what age. From a 1 week baby, you take a picture and you put them on the internet. Yeah, we provide this for babies, or this is our model. That's payment, right? And I think I've mentioned before. Once you pay that child W-2 income, that is earned income. Right? That is
Okay.
earned income, which now you can set a IRA or a Roth IRA for that child. So at birth, if that money just keeps compounding, by the time that child's 18 to 25, they could be a
Yeah.
millionaire. Tax free to them, your write off to you, and the baby grows tax deferred, right? But the people think, oh, everything is free. Nothing is, everything is free, right?
Right. Right.
So you have to pay payroll taxes. So okay, payroll taxes is
Okay.
12%. It's not a lot on 15% on 15,000 really isn't a lot of income.
Right.
So you're paying tax on that. That's really it. It's not 100% free, but it's mostly free, and it's a pass through to someone has a lower tax bracket. Even if I'm at the 30% tax bracket and my child is at the 0 or even 10, why not defer to them stuff I'm going to get to them anyway and let them pay for it,
Right.
right? whether it be school, whether it be food and clothing and whatever the case may be. Yeah, you get your own clothes. I can't write off your clothes when I buy them. So I give you the money, I pay
Right.
you a salary, and you go buy your own clothes. And now I wrote off your clothes in essence because I paid you to go get them.
Wow.
I mean, a lot of
That,
that started, and people don't know about the labor laws because you can't even work to a certain age. You have to have permits to
yeah.
work, but there's no
Right.
labor law to your family because remember, we at one point were a farming nation. So you tell me, little Johnny, 8 years old, he can't go out there and feed them chickens.
Right.
He gonna feed
So
those
you
chickens,
can put your child on the payroll at birth.
basically. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, basically.
That is amazing. And that's because you see that in a lot of communities when you
Hmm.
go in stores, when you go in convenience stores, when you go in restaurants, you see like 4 or 5 generations
Correct.
all working in the same restaurant,
Correct.
and
Because that
and
money is
it
all
looks
going to the same place, right?
and it looks great. I love to see that because I believe in, that cyclical, keeping the money in the family. But
Hmm.
it's smart. It's great for family building, but it's just smart money management.
It is. It is. And especially when you're in control of it, you know what you can do for it. So I just think at
Right.
that point, it's a great move. I think it's a move that a lot of people in those families do. Like, if we're all living in the same house, why don't you give me the money that I'm going to pay you, and then you put it back into the household? Therefore, our costs are a lot lower. So, I mean, there's so many different ways you can move, and as the rules change, our job is to study them. So I get the fun read of the first couple of weeks when the new laws come and finding out what the new changes are and how can it affect my
Right.
client and what can be
Right.
done by that. So that's an interesting read. It helps me
Yeah.
sleep at night. Helps
Yeah.
me sleep at night for sure.
It is. That's very interesting. So what about if you want to set up a business? You're two adults. Me and my sister, me and my cousin
Hmm.
want to start a business together, right? And
Hmm.
is it typically advisable? I mean, this may be like a sophomore question, but I just want to ask this just to be thorough here. Is it
Hmm.
typically always good to do that even split, the 50-50? Is
No.
it more okay? Let's
So
talk about that.
let's talk about everything. So say you and your sister decide, I got a brilliant idea. You saw a need that needs to be met and you could fill it, right? Because really that's
Yeah.
what business is. Finding out a need that needs to be there and you fill
Problem
that need.
solving. Problem solving for sure.
101.
Yep.
Very rarely is it ever 50-50. And
Right.
and that's when the fight starts, right? We 50-50 on the money, 50-50 on the tax break, but I'm doing 80% of the work and you're
Out of
doing
work.
20% of the work. Now you can fix that with guaranteed payments when you do a partnership, which means no matter what, I'm gonna get paid for my work, but we own 50%, but you're
Okay.
still paying tax on that money at your taxable rate. The one thing I think I would stress about partnerships, and I think I've talked to this to my other clients, is every company should have a dissolution agreement in place already. And for those who don't know, dissolution agreement is when we do break up, it's like a prenup. When we do
Right.
break up, who gonna get
Right.
this? Who gonna get this? Who gonna get that? And the reason why I say that is because I've seen close friends, I've seen family members have a great, brilliant
Yes, Lord.
idea, and then they're no longer friends. They're no
And
longer
they're
want to
not
speak to each
friends.
other because they
Yeah.
don't understand. If I'm a worker, I'm gonna get to this goal, and I go home and your feet up on the couch and you eating chips. Cool, I'm gonna let it slide the first time. The next two times, I'm gonna start feeling some kind of way. Right? We getting the same money, and I'm working 60 hours, and you're working 20 hours. And then we have a problem, right? Communication and effort and expectation. Because realistically, it's a problem of expectation. What you thought they were doing, supposed to do versus what they did.
Right. Right. That's who they always were, but you were hoping that maybe they were gonna,
So
and you know how
when
that
you have a
goes.
dissolution agreement set up, you've already agreed that should this thing not work, here's what's gonna happen. You're
Right.
gonna take the couch, I'm gonna take the chair, you're gonna take the computer, I'm gonna take the microwave, and then we're gonna empty the bank account to our 50-50.
And those are legally binding? Those,
Those are legal,
okay.
those are hold up in court. And
Okay.
so therefore you know what you are gonna get. So when you think this isn't really a good shake for me anymore, I can just do this on my own. You sit down and
Right.
say, I want to dissolve this company, you pay the state what you need to pay them to dissolve it. And at your tax time, you federally dissolve it, and then you'll walk away with the assets that you negotiated with earlier.
Wow. So that dissolution agreement needs to be a part of your standard, even though it's maybe the uncomfortables. You know what I'm saying? You don't
Any
necessarily want to
partnership
talk
should have
about,
it. If you have
right.
a partnership, that should have it. And just like if you don't have a partnership, I think your exit strategy on all your businesses should be viable. You should understand what you're working towards. I mean, let's think about it. If someone said, go to school, I'll let you know when you're done.
Right. Right. Just get on out there. Yeah.
Just, 6 years in, how much longer? Don't worry about it. Just keep
Right.
working. Right?
Right.
But you know after 12 years, you're going to graduate. You know that after
Yeah.
4 years, you're going to graduate. So you have something
Yeah.
you're working towards. Your business should be the same way. You should have, hey, what are my goals? Am I going to go 10 years in? And the crazy part is some people get out too soon. Some people get out too late. A
Right.
great example, Victoria's Secret, one of the well-known, household names. Victoria's
Hmm.
Secret was sold for $2 million.
Which is insane because the Angel fashion shows in New York used to be, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
look,
the guy ended up committing suicide
yeah.
because he realized what he gave up. But I mean, if you gotta look at it honestly, what did he give up? What did he take to start that business? Like, what was the start of? If maybe it was 100,000 to start the business.
Right.
So
Right.
did he win if he sold for 2 million? Yeah, he could. He took it as far as he could take it. Go do
Yeah.
something else with that money now. Start of something else. It really depends on it, and you have to have an outside. Like we'll do a valuation of a business. We'll say, okay, right now your business can sell for 2.8, and you go, I'm going to hold on to it until it's 3.5, then I'll move it. Or we'll
Hmm.
come in and say, you're never going to get 3.5 for this because you have this issue, this issue, this issue, this issue. So either you
Yeah.
spend a million to fix these issues, or you sell it as is. Right.
Hmm.
And so then that comes to be the problem. So without vision, and which it's, I think you and I spoke the other day, what are the roles in your business? You know,
Yeah.
a CEO is not
Yeah.
supposed to do the day-to-day work. A CEO is supposed to
Right.
find out
Right.
where the money is. I
Hmm.
mean, the president does the day-to-day. The CFO focuses on the money and how that is being challenged. So really get to know your role and who do you have to bring in to handle the money? Who do you have to bring in to help you with the vision? Who runs the day-to-day?
Yeah.
One of the projects I'm working on with the gentleman now is for those businesses who know how to make the money but don't understand the planning and the roadmap as well. We'll come in there for a fee and run that portion for you so you can go back and make the money.
Hmm.
You're talking about QuickBooks earlier, you're talking about all that. Who got in the business to be their own accountant?
Right.
Who got in the business to be their own lawyer? Who got no one did. So your skill, which is doing whatever you do or selling whatever you sell, is diminished the minute you get involved in all the
You have to do
administrative tasks.
all the administrative stuff. And so with regards, now this question kind of gets a little bit away from the tax preparation and stuff, but just
Mhm.
when you're thinking, because we did just talk about this,
Mhm.
when you are in that solopreneur, owner, operator, I'm doing the grunt work day to day, what needs to take place for because mentally you can't think about owner operator mindset if you're also going to think CEO mindset.
So you have to understand from the beginning of your business, you have to get out of hobby mode. You have to get out and make
Yeah.
me a couple of dollars, be able to buy this and that, and go shopping. I'll take my vacation once a year. You have to get in this understanding scaling, right? How big can you get? And to get that big, what do you need? So realistically, I'm a big thinker, so I try to force my clients into big thinking. Like we had a
You were
client that
you were
years,
definitely the think big. You were
oh,
definitely the think big.
listen,
That guy,
like
yeah.
I said, think big or go home, man.
Right.
So I had a client that worked for another client, and they were getting paid 100,000. And I said, why are you guys doing all the work? And he's making the money. So
Yeah.
they actually got together, and in their first year, made 700,000. They made 700,000. So you have to understand what you have. Is it marketable? If it
Hmm.
is, where's your market? How big is your market? And what can you do to get as many people into that market as possible? Like every day I have a conversation with my sales guy. Hey, what can we do to get more people in? I'm going to talk to other people. Hey, what can you offer me to bring me more clients in that we can service? Then on top of that, though, I have my staff saying, what can we do better so that we can bring in more money and keep more money in the office? And it's a
Yeah.
daily understanding. Like once you set that vision out, you have to make sure you're following that vision so it reaches to whomever it needs to reach.
That's that. We talked about this, that short term versus like what's your goal
Hmm.
for this quarter, what's your
Yep.
goal for this year, what's your goal for the next 5 years. That's that goal planning, short term vision versus long term.
Because if you think about it, right? If you said, "Hey, I want to make 50,000 this quarter,"
Yeah.
then you work backwards. What's going to take me to make 50,000? How many sales do I need to make 50,000? Now, I want to bring home how much of that 50,000? Okay, I want to bring home 10,000. I want to have a 20% profit margin because you should know what your profit margins are before you get started, right? So if I know I'm going to bring home I make 50 to bring home 20, bring home 10. This is how many I have to sell. I have to sell 100 widgets to get to that,
Right.
right? So what am I going to do to sell 100 widgets?
Yeah.
Right? So you want to make sure that happens. And then if you didn't sell 100 widgets, why? Was it you? Was it the
Right.
product? Was it the market? Was it who
What
all?
needs
Why is the
to what
reason?
needs to change?
What needs to be fixed? And if you're understanding that, if you're on top of that, you can fix it. It's almost like the person I'll give you 401k for most W-2 people. Oh, my 401k is on my check. It goes to whatever investment I picked at the beginning of my 401k.
Mm.
Well, great. That tanked about 2 years ago, but you're still putting money into it. Like your 401k should be checked on quarterly. Is that still performing at the rate I want to perform at? Because you can go quickly up or quickly down. I had a gentleman who I helped went from an intern to a full-time employee, and I was back in the day, and I was like, hey, you should jump into real estate. Right now, real estate is hot. I want to tell you, he's had several $1 million in his 401k because he got in, it grew, and then he moved it when it was time to move it.
Hmm. When it
You
was
can
time to
make
move.
it, yeah. If you don't understand why, if you're kind of set it and forget it, go speak to somebody. Go talk. That
Yeah.
20, 50, $100 will be well worth it when you make your profits. When you can see, hey, lately this
Need
investment
the
has not been
investment.
working. Yeah. So
If it's one thing that I, as a business owner, that I would tell anybody who's starting out a business now, please do not underestimate like those investments that will
hmm
get you greater return down the road. Some people might say, I ain't spending $100 to meet with this guy to
yeah,
talk to
they
tell me
say
something
that.
about. They say that. I know they say that. But
They
you know what
do.
I'm saying? They're like $100, and it's like that $100 for that one meeting can help set your entire trajectory of your financial stability, like for the
Right.
whole year and going forward into motion.
I'm gonna do you one better, right? If I could do anything differently, I mean, I'm glad I went on my own. I'm glad, like, not to say I didn't
Yeah,
like my place where I was working, but I felt like my value was more, right?
yeah,
When I jumped out the window, because I jumped out during the beginning of tax season, I said, this is where most of my cash comes in. I could jump out. I could,
yeah.
even if it doesn't work out like I want, I have cash I can live off while I try to fix it. So at that time, I'm gonna tell you, get a line of credit.
Yeah.
Get your credit right and get a line of credit because I'm just like it snowed. It's gonna snow. It's gonna rain. It's gonna happen, and how you handle that is what's gonna make or break you. Right?
One
How
thing
you
I
handle that.
definitely, oh,
Sure.
go ahead. I, I,
And
ju-
I
I
just
want
think,
to I want to highlight that line of credit. I want to highlight why it's important
okay.
to make sure that your personal credit is good as a supplement to your business.
Yeah, it has to be.
Okay.
It has to be because you don't understand. Like it's not about you winning. It's
Hmm.
about can you handle the rain? Like that. Literally, that New Edition song. Can you stand the rain?
Yeah.
Right? That DVD or whatever song, who's song. That is
Yeah.
the truth. Because if you can handle the punches, if you can handle when things aren't going right, you can then understand. Okay, that was close, but now I got this line of credit. Give me
I'm
10,000.
still
Give me through the
good.
storm. Now I
Yeah.
can pay that back slowly while I stay on top of my feet.
Right. Right. And so that, and in many cases, as for small business owners, when you go to apply for business funding, they're going to ask you about your personal credit.
Until you develop your business credit. So early
Right.
on, you won't
Okay.
have the business credit. And for those, most people don't
Right.
know, most people don't fund you for your first 2 years because most businesses fail within 2 years.
Yeah.
So they try to wait for you after the 2 years to fund you, right? When that happens, then you can go. But you should also build up your. If you don't know, go talk to somebody. How do I build up my business credits? How many lines of credit do I need? How many trade lines do I need
Right.
to show that my business? Because when you get that set up, you don't have to put your own personal name on stuff. You can
Yeah.
get things without having your personal name and credit and no guarantor on that. Cars to equipment to just lines of credit. And you want to have it separate because if, God forbid, you have to file bankruptcy. If you filed, oh, I'm a personal guarantor, then you're not off the hook still. You still have to pay for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that is, man, that's very important, and that's something that is very pivotal because you hear a lot of social media stuff about, oh, you can get this line of credit for your business, and they're not gonna
Oh
check
yeah.
your personal.
A
They're not.
28, a
There's
28%.
Right. There's all kinds of stuff all over social media telling small business owners how they can get all this money. You can get 20,000 a day. Nobody's checking your credit. But for legitimate, solid business transactions, until your business is established, your
Mhm.
personal credit will be the guarantor for your business
Correct.
to be able to get funding.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. So,
Okay.
and then once you get to that 2 year threshold, and you have, and just another part, let me just quickly say, you can't show losses every year on your taxes and think somebody's gonna give you
Right.
some money, right?
Right.
We got
Right.
people like, hey, can I lose? Like, am I gonna lose money? 'Cause I want to get a bigger refund. I'm like, but yeah, when you
Right.
go to the bank and be like, I can't manage money, I lose money every year. Can I borrow some of your money? They be like, man, if you don't get out of my office,
You got all negatives all the way down your list. You in here asking for money.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
Would you loan it to your friend who knows they're out at
Right.
this party and all? No, you're not.
Yeah.
So they're not going to loan a perfect stranger that. So you got to pay a little bit in taxes, but it's going to benefit you if you have a 20, 50, $100,000 line of credit later on in the future.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Man, this has been some great info, Pete. So now one other question that I just want to ask, because you
Sure.
mentioned the word audit earlier, and I
Hmm.
just wanted to talk about with this new bill, with the one big beautiful bill,
Yep.
you said that they've already hired a bunch more auditors. Does this bill bring in more oversight, more enforcement, more
So
auditing?
the bill doesn't, but per se, when changes are made,
Yeah.
they expect people to try to take advantage of the system. I'm sure everyone's heard that word PPP, or
Yeah.
they like, what? I got me a
Oh.
Ferrari from PPP. Yeah, no. So
Now
what
you're
that?
in jail. Now you're in jail.
Oh yeah, it's federal. It's
Yeah.
federal fraud, federal bank wire, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the
Yeah.
day, yeah, the concentration on auditing is going to go up, and I'll tell you how I can tell you why. For those who don't know, when you're a registered tax preparer, when you work with the IRS, there are a different set of rules than Basement Bob who's doing your taxes and signing
Right.
self-prepared, and you got to be responsible for it. We
Yeah.
have to actually pass courses. We have to renew our licenses, but they're
Mm-hmm.
asking us now this year is even a higher law of compliance. There are higher rules of what we have to
Mm-hmm.
ask you guys to make sure. And not only did we ask, where's the proof that you asked? They're literally asking us to
Wow.
provide proof that we asked you these questions so that we know that you're not trying to, when it comes to head of household, when it comes to
Yeah.
income credit, when it comes to kids, all the credits, they're going to make. So if you don't deserve that credit, somebody told you do this and you'll get this, I stay away
Right.
from that because when it comes down to it, they're going to not only hit you with give me my money back, but they're going to say with penalty and interest
Yeah.
as well. All right, so all money's
Wow.
not good money. You have to understand that.
Please understand that, and it's
Mhm.
okay to take your time. Please don't think that you got to jump out here and let somebody tell you you can get $20,000 with no business. You know what I'm saying? With no credit check for your business, and you jump out there, and then now you out here walking outside like Nino with that dude outside the Carter.
Listen,
You know
that
what I'm
happens to me
saying?
with MCAs. It's like a lead
Yeah.
burger. That money feels good when it hits your account, and they say, "Hey, every day I need you to give me back $150 every day, like
Yeah.
every day, 5 days
Right.
a week."
Right. Like
So
tomorrow. I
literally
just.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
literally tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have to understand. Again, you can talk to a professional. It doesn't have to be someone you know. And if I have a lot of friends who I don't do their taxes because they're not comfortable. They don't want me to know how much money they're making. They're struggling. I don't really care.
Right.
But I'm here to help you. And at the end of the day, we want to help our clients understand. If you only knew the amount of money that we save our clients that use us
Yeah.
because now they understand. And what they don't, they hire us. Hey, Pete, just do it and explain to me what you did afterwards.
Yeah.
No problem. Here's what we did. Here's why we did it. And I even do a side by side comparison sometimes. If you want to do it your way, this is what it looks like. Do it my way, this is what it looks like. And we
And
can
I
help you
can
out.
tell you, for business owners who see this later, SG Tax Pros has been helping with my preparation and with helping me with business planning for a few years now, and it's a fantastic program. I definitely would like for you to let everyone know.
Sure.
For those who see this broadcast, Pete Baycoat, the SG Tax Pros, they do work with both individuals and small businesses
Yep.
across the United States.
Yep.
So just because their office is based in Jersey does not mean that they
No.
only service New Jersey.
Yeah, we have clients all
Okay?
over the country. Yeah, we have
Right.
clients literally
So,
all over the country.
yeah.
SG Tax Pros, they specialize in taxation, which is from business individuals. We specialize in tax resolution, which is when old Uncle Sam got your number, we help you decide on that number a fair number or should you pay less.
Right.
And then last but not
Okay.
least, we do tax planning, which is when you know some changes are coming. what can you do to prepare yourself for those changes? And that's major.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. How can people reach your company? How should they get in touch
Sure.
with you if they're interested in further help?
So we have a couple ways to reach us. Of course, you can go to our site here at SG underscore tax pros, but you can call us at 856-209-5757. You can email us at info@sgtaxpros.com. We have, we're out here. We're reachable. Our address, we're in Cherry Hill. If you want to
Definitely.
stop by, I think you can find us on Google. We're on everything, every medium, whether it be Facebook, Instagram. It doesn't matter. You can find us, and we can help
And
you out.
I'm definitely gonna chop this up and make sure that I highlight that this is Philly Black business owners, Philly business owners. This is
Yep.
Philly right here. This brother not only
Yep.
has roots out of Philadelphia, he went
Yep.
to Temple, he played
Yes,
ball at
sir.
Temple. This
Yes,
is
sir.
Philly right here. So
It
Philly business
is.
owners, please make sure that you all tap in because I wanted to have this discussion because I have been a part of several discussions that I've seen taking place
Hmm.
about tax preparation changes, and I've seen business owners confused. And it's important that we have safe spaces where we
Hmm.
can ask vulnerable questions, get honest, real, informative answers. And so I appreciate you, Pete. I appreciate the
Yeah.
work of your staff. You all have helped me tremendously, and I definitely plan to, of course, work with you all in the future. And I appreciate you coming on. Just taking this time to help with just the knowledge base for developing business owners out here because we're not dressing for the job we want. We're not dressing for we dress no, we're not dressing for what we got. We're dressing for the job we want, right?
Correct.
So we're preparing for the future. So thank you so
You're very
much
welcome.
for tapping in. Everybody, make sure that you follow SG underscore tax pros for more information. And Pete has provided the information. We're going to put that in the caption as well,
Appreciate
so
you.
that folks know that they can reach you all to get that money right because we got to get these coins straight.
Yeah, absolutely. But thanks for having us. We
Okay,
definitely appreciate the conversation. Anyone needs help, we're
for
here to
sure.
help people out, and we can't wait to help you become a multi-billionaire over there.
Boom. Come on now. All the bees, all the big bees. That's what
All
I'm
of
talking
them.
about. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Pete. Have a good night.
You're welcome. Take care.
Take care.
Bye bye.